Hello out there, YouTube and Facebook, and whoever happens to be watching this in my program. This is my very first video blog. What did we do today? Well, the very first class was organic movement with Lou Papillon. It was definitely interesting. She had us do a whole bunch of stretches. Qigong is the name of our stretch warm-ups and whatnot, and that were, dare I say, difficult for me specifically because I'm fat, to be honest with you, and out of shape, which is nobody's fault but my own. So there's that. We go from spring winds, actually it starts on this side, salutation, and then Buddha, fish through water, which was the most fun to me actually, even though people say it was the most difficult. It's the most fun to me. Temples was difficult. On the other side we have spring winds. That one I almost passed out on. Yeah, we have, with spring winds you have to rotate your entire body all the way around in a standing position, of course. I'm in a swivel chair right now, so it's a lot easier, but I mean, it's 36 sets of it, and the first 20 are pretty easy, and the next 10 are really fast. And at one point, like, she gets to the 10 countdown, and when it got to that point, I damn near passed out. So that's going to be difficult to get used to that. But apparently everybody in the second year class had to go through all of this, and nobody ever passed out. And a lot of them have lost weight and stuff over this, which I'm really looking forward to the fact that I will most likely be losing weight. I'm about 50 pounds over my ideal weight right now, and I would very much like to be at my ideal weight, which is about 180. So you do the math. From spring winds we went to gather water, which was more squats. The other one that was squats was temples. A lot of leg movements. My legs are going to get really tight the next few days. We went to relaxation and final salutation, and that kind of gets you relaxed. And supposedly we're going to be doing all of that in about 15 minutes, which leaves us another hour to do other things. So it's going to just get more difficult from here, but I look forward to it because it's going to help me in the long run. So after Lou Papillon's organic movement class, we moved on to a 3-hour break in which I came and took a shower, laid in bed for a little while, and just kind of relaxed. To be honest with you, it was really nice after such an intense movement class. Well, intense for me. It was nice to just lay in the bed and relax for a few minutes, and I kind of needed it. And so that's probably what's going to be happening every Monday after that first class. So after the 3-hour break, we went to our first voice class with Françoise, and that was a very interesting experience. What she had us do first wasn't actually like use our voices really in an acting sort of way. What she had us do was, so we drew pictures first. The first picture she wanted us to draw was how we interpret our voice. This was mine. What I came up with was my current voice. I feel like it's a squawking bird, really. Like you walk through the forest and you hear the little sing-songy birds that are very pretty, and you're like, oh, that's cute. And then you hear the big crows and ravens and seagulls and stuff, and they're very squawky, and you're just like, shut up, bird, I can't even hear myself think. And I often feel like that's how my voice comes across. That it's, shut up, Zach, I can't even hear myself think. Nobody's ever really said that to me, but I often feel like that's how it is. That just people hear me, but they don't really listen. And it's more than likely my own fault. So that's what I'm hoping kind of to change. So that was our first picture, the squawking bird. And then my next one doesn't actually have anything to do with a bird, so a lot of people were kind of confused about it, but this was my next picture. And it's very obviously fire on a log. So fire on the log, to me, like I want my voice to be one that people will stop, intensely stare at and listen to and concentrate on. Like if you ever go out to a campfire, you talk with your friends and whatnot, and you eat s'mores and do other things that you do around a campfire. But a lot of times people will just sit there and stare into the fire and listen to it and absorb its heat and its popping sounds. And it's that kind of concentration that I would like my voice to demand, really. I would like people to really go, wow, I love that guy's voice. I want to hear more of what he has to say. And then the log represented control of the fire, whereas like if I had drawn like a forest fire or something, that would have been out of control. That was in the interpretation of my voice. And from there, we listed off a bunch of words describing voice, and that was to be used later on in a poem. But after listing off as many words as we possibly could, we had to draw ourself, a silhouette of ourselves, even though we all suck at drawing except for Aubrey. So after you draw your basic silhouette, you have to start drawing in what you think is the problem areas in your body that could be causing problems with your voice. So I drew this. As you can see, right through here is sort of my blubbery gut. And I wrote shape, size, breath, lung capacity, and self-conscious, because I honestly believe that 99% of my problems when it comes to acting, when it comes to talking to people, when it comes to how I hold myself, all of these things are issues with my gut. If I didn't have this giant pouch of flub, then I would probably be much more confident, and I would be able to sing better and give better speeches and a whole bunch of other things. And it sounds like my classes, as well as the fact that everything is much more healthy over here, will do that for me. So I look forward to that. So after we did that picture, she had us write a poem. And if we couldn't think of anything, then she wanted us to use the words that we came up with describing a voice. But it was supposed to be a poem to my voice. And everybody wrote these great, big, long, really beautiful and moving pieces about, some of them were about like being self-conscious of their voice. Others of them were like, I'm happy about my voice and I'm proud of my voice. It does these things for me. And after literally tearing myself down with the first couple of pictures and feeling bad about myself, all I could come up with was a little haiku. I guess I'll just go ahead and read that for you. It says, "Talented young man, performs many characters, make a career now." And so that was my poem. And basically what I meant by it is the fact that I'm here in England, going to school full-time for my MFA program, is me starting a life of acting. And I do mean a life of acting. Which leads me into one of the next things. I'm actually going to skip stage combat for right now. When we talked to Alex Taylor a little bit later on, we had our journal class, which is part of what I'm doing right now, actually. My video blog is for the journal. When we went in there, he asked us a couple of questions. So he asked us, what do you expect from the course? What do you expect from yourself? And why are you here? And, well, the answer to a couple of those is in a long story, really. And I didn't get to say this in class, and to be honest with you, I didn't really want to, but I'll go ahead and say it now. I did acting back in high school from 2003 to 2005, and I loved every minute of it. Then I got out of high school and went over to Clark College for about a year and a half. Didn't go full-time, so obviously I wasn't even close to graduating in that time. And I did as much theater as I possibly could. I did speech classes and other things that I enjoy, but there were requirement classes of me that I just didn't want to take. When I found out about the Disney College program, I went to it as a way of dropping out of school. I thought when I went down to Disney that I was going to be discovered and put in some sort of Disney performance, and that would be the start of my career. And I got down there and I was lonely, and I was trying to meet a girl that could take, sort of care of me, really, and be a partner to me at that point in time. Didn't happen. None of that happened. So I went home very sad and disappointed. And even though the Disney College program was great, it really was, I came home with some amazing memories. It just wasn't what I was looking for. And so from there I went into the working world. I tried doing some theater shows after that, and nothing really made me feel like a good person anymore, except for theater. And so after enough time, my dad calls me up one day and says, "Hey, do you want to go back to school? I got my VA benefits, so it'd be free for a little while." I was like, "Yeah, I'm in." And so I went to school, used the VA benefits to pay for almost the entirety of Clark College. And once I got my associate's degree, went to WSU. While I was there, I actually created a theater program, all the while doing more shows with Clark College, other local companies around the area. Never been happier than when I'm doing acting. And this includes like the times when I would do extra work for leverage and commercials in a movie and whatnot. Even just sitting there doing extra work was the most fun I've had in so long. Even doing extra work was more fun than any job I've ever held. And that includes my one at Xbox that I loved. Games for Windows Live. Those were great jobs. And given the fact that I might not have gone to school, I probably would still be there. At this point, I'd be like a manager or whatever. But so my dad got me back into school. I graduated with my BS in psychology and went to the ERDA auditions. And even though this school was my second choice out of all the schools that I auditioned for, it was also the only school that accepted me. So I guess it was fate. So that's why I'm here. What do I want out of this program? I want the tools to be able to make me the best possible actor I can be. I want to go to Hollywood and become famous. Nobody else I've ever talked to in my life about acting wants to be famous but me. People are always like, oh, it's about the art and it's about teaching other people and I just want to be a working actor. And I'm like, no, I don't want just that. I want the fame. I want the recognition for my work and I want it to be seen worldwide. And I have reasons for this that aren't just I'm a big ego monster or something like that, because that's not true at all. I actually want the recognition and the fame so that I can spread a message, several messages. I know you guys have seen those videos where it's like celebrities talking about things that they believe in, like most recently the gun violence one. And I want to be a part of those. But even more so, I want to try and change small things. I'm going to give you a great example of this. Robin Williams, before he passed away, would put in his contract that anytime somebody hired him, they would also have to hire 6 homeless people to work on the film. And they would do it for him. And I think after I get far enough into my career, if I get important enough, like Chris Pratt or something, to where people want me in movies and they're going to pay me a lot of money, as soon as they say, hey Zach, we're going to give you $10 million for this role, I'll tell you what, I'll take 100,000 and you give the other 9.9 million to everybody that's making minimum wage on your movie. And a great example of this is the CGI workers. So for Guardians of the Galaxy, for example, my buddy Nathan was one of the CGI workers on that. I don't know exactly what he animated, but he was paid minimum wage for his work. And you can't survive on that. And the actors are getting paid millions of dollars, the directors and producers are getting paid millions of dollars. So I'm going to take a minimal amount of money, enough that I can survive on, no problem, and give the rest to the workers of the movie. There's really no reason for them not to want to do something like that. You're not giving all of that money to one person. That way the employees can spread the wealth a little bit more and they can survive a lot easier. And people who love to do things like CGI work will not hate it after a movie or two. Hours upon hours upon hours of back-intensive labor. And I do mean back-intensive, because if you literally sat in a stiff chair for hours trying to animate something on a computer, your back starts to hurt. That's what I want from the school, is the tools to be able to do these things, The journal class, the notebook class. It was very interesting to see how everybody else felt about why they were here and what they were doing. But that's why I'm here. So I skipped over the stage combat class that we took. 45 minutes of the hour, we were just talking about each other, and that's fine. We get to know each other as well as the teacher and whatnot, and that's all great. And then the last 15 minutes was learning basic foot movement of rapier and daggers. So we're going to be learning to hold a rapier in one hand and a dagger in the other, and then fighting like that. So that's going to be really cool. And then he also explained to us the option of doing certification for stage combat stuff, and I will do them. I'm going to try and do all 4. I know what 3 of them are: rapier and dagger, unarmed, broadsword. I don't know what the 4th one is. I want to do all 4 certifications, because that's more ways that I can market myself once I get done with the school here. But I mean, it costs a little bit more money. It's about £200 for each class. Grand total of about $1,200 American dollars. I don't know how much money we're getting each semester and whatnot yet, so I'm kind of waiting this one out. They had the class tonight from 6 o'clock until 9 o'clock, but I'm too tired physically right now to be able to do it. homework to do. I needed to do this as well as read some more of the Merchant of Venice and some of As You Like It. And so I decided to do that instead of the stage combat class, because next year he is doing the first 2 of this year, so Rapier and Dagger and Unarmed again. So I can miss the first semester, which is Unarmed, and do it exactly a year from now and be able to get certified in it still, if I wanted to. But I need to ease into this. You know, if I'm doing 5 hours of exercise right off the get-go, I'm not going to like it. I'm keeping it down to the 2 hours that we did. I think that will start to get me in a better shape, and maybe by next semester I'll be able to add the extra 3 hours on Monday to do the stage combat class. So that was pretty much it.